What's up, guys? It's Spam the Steampunk Nerfer, and today I'm not being a nerfer. Today I'm being a network engineer. I thought you might want to know what goes on in my daily life for my work life. So I'm here in Denver. It's very nice outside. Really cold, but nice. And I'm installing access points in rooms. This is the 433rd one, and it happens to be my own room. So I have an H510 that's already been labeled. I have the screws, a screwdriver, wall plate, and box that came in for trash. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this around so you guys can see how I do this. And I'm doing this without a drill for a reason. 9 times out of 10, you will have a drill. But a lot of times you'll be in such cramped quarters. Notice I am underneath the television here behind the desk, that you're not going to have the room to actually use a drill. So hope you enjoy. All right. So at this site there are 2 hardwire Ethernet ports behind the desk here. I will begin by unscrewing the faceplate, and again using a regular screwdriver because you might not have a drill. Oh, lovely. So this is potentially stripped. And it seems that way. So how do I fix that? Well, go ahead and take this screw out. And I am going to use my handy dandy free fall electrical snips. These bad boys, super sharp, and they do almost everything. So I'm going to slide this behind the jack to put a little bit of pressure onto this screw, and hopefully that will get us past the strip point. And that is working. You can see the faceplate, there it goes, starts to come off the wall. Now, we are not going to use this faceplate at all. It is trash, as are the screws that we are pulling out of here. Because, as you can see right in through here, see the color the difference in color? That means that this screw has potentially been stripped. That's why I had to use the snips. That is trash. Or those screws are trash. So we are going to need to get these jacks out of the faceplate. And you change your 11-in-1 screwdriver to a standard flathead. This is really the only reason to use flathead anything. And I'm going to have to hold the phone elsewhere, a different way. Let's see if I can get it to prop up here. Sorry for the weird first-person view. There we go. So just gently wedge and pull. Now, faceplate's off, and these cables are labeled. Hey, that's good. Now, we've already gone through the trouble to figuring out which access cable is the one that we're going to use. So we are using number 1, which is the cable on the left-hand side of the jack. We are going to plug in our patch cable. It's a small little 1-footer. That's in to the jack. And we are going to pick up our screws, empty out our screws here onto the ground, which is fine. And we can either start by putting these screws in to the gang box here, or mud ring, whatever you want to call it, or we can go ahead and mount this and then put our screws in. Since I have one hand, I'm going to go ahead and pop a screw in, hand screw, then hand screw the other, so that they stick out, and grab your metal faceplate. And normally access points are mounted vertically. However, on this property, they're mounted horizontally. You're going to tuck the cable back in to the wall as much as you can. You might have to redirect it a bit. And you can just slip the metal bracketing over the screws, right like that. So, at this point, you'll want to flip back to a Phillips head and just cinch this down. Now, I am using gravity to keep things nice, level, and compact here, because the way that this Ruckus does this is they allow for many different multiple mounting points. So if you've got a weird gang box, or if you've got a weird mounting situation, you can easily line it up and make sure that it's completely level, or at least as level as the gang box is, without having to measure or bring a level out. So now, sometimes this happens is that when you tighten up on this, it will actually push the bracketing up. Don't want to deal with that. You want to go ahead and make sure that that stays down. And you just tighten. And we'll have a little bit of a rise. Not a big deal. And tighten the other side. And if you are buying a standard screwdriver, this is a P2 for this type of Phillips head. It's almost what we use universally for all of our builds for networking. All right, that is almost fully cinched in. There we go. And I tried to take my bit with it. It's okay. Now, the H510s are great. They have a 4-port switch on the bottom, and you can even upload with USB. But they have one port on the back for PoE, and a PoE pass-through on port number 1. So you can plug in like an IP phone, or really any other device. These are all able to be managed, so which is really nice. And this is like your gold standard for internet in hotel rooms, because with Marriott, we're actually in a Westin, which is now owned by Marriott. These are being placed in every single room now. So we'll go ahead and plug it in, and it should get power here, maybe. There it goes. So this means that this has been patched in to a power over Ethernet switch. So this is actually going to come up and actually work. So back up here to the gang box. We are going to take our patch cable and lovingly shove it in to the gang box. There we are. And there are 2 notches on the bottom side here on the H510s that you line them in, and then they just flush mount to the wall. Now, to secure this to the wall, we are going to need to use one of these small security screws. Now, this is a T10 Torx. It can be found on a standard 11-in-1, and I already have it on deck on the other hand, or on the other side of my screwdriver, right like that. So, go ahead and pick that up here. Go ahead and remount this. This is much easier when they are standing vertically, I tell you. I'm sorry about that. I need to get like a head mount or something for my phone. And get the screwdriver in here. And we are going to find that screw hole. And once you find the screw hole like I have here, just go ahead, cinch it down. And there is a second screw in case if you need to put one on the other side. But since this is a horizontal install, you don't have to. Now that is on the wall. It will download its firmware, reboot a couple of times, and you're done. Just put the room back, put the room back together. So, I know this is like a very long explainy video, and the camera angles are weird, and I'm sorry about, shaking and all that wonderful jazz, but this is what I do on the daily. I no longer actually work for Cloud 5. I'm contracting for them. I still get to use my shirts. It's really nice. But this is my daily life. I am literally about 14 hours into my workday right now. It is so long. This is like my 433rd access point install for this project, and I'm just beat. This is my daily life. So I hope you enjoyed the video and the little insight. I haven't even gone over switches or even more things like the PoE on this and how that works, but whatever. It's that's what I do on the daily basis. I really love you guys. Thank you for watching. Sorry for the rambly bits and some of the poor camera angles, but hey, I'm installing something that usually requires 2 hands with 1. And as you practice this sort of thing like I have, and if you have a drill, like I do, you'll get this down in 5 minutes, which is great. It's super easy. Anyway, love you guys. Stay steamy, my friends.